Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC 289 Nunes versus Aldana. We back with our first breakdown that actually has a fucking screen. And yeah, hope y'all liking this. This is gonna be how it's gonna look from now on. You're not gonna get no more black screen, you're actually gonna get to see Tapology. So yeah, not much really to say there. Hope y'all like it, hope it makes videos better. And yeah, still the same shit audio, but at least you're looking at something. Probably looking at the same thing many people use, Tapology, because it is number one, but what can you do? But overall, yeah, good to be back. Good to have a breakdown, actually have a screen. And yeah, 289 in Canada, Vancouver, Canada. Only 11 fights, very short card, but I'll talk about why probably at the end of the breakdown. And I'll talk about some fights that have been affected by it, but overall, I think it's an alright card. Main and co are really good. Couple gems on the card. Is it strong? No. Is it a good card? No. Because compared to what we do have going up, like 292, 291, my god. But I still think it's a decent card. I think people are shitting on it a little too much. People are not giving Nunes Aldana nearly as much hype as it should be getting. Because, dude, this is the best Nunes fight we've had since Cyborg. Alright, but I'll talk about it more later. I think this is a better card than people are giving it credit for. Yes, they're, like, it's not casual friendly. It's not worth 80, 90, however the fuck much Dana is asking for. But, yeah, it's a pay-per-view, so not much more to say. I'm gonna stop rambling and actually talk about it. So, like I said, we got 11 fights to break down. I'm not a fan of this. Why did you add this typology? But whatever, 11 fights, good, bad, and indifferent. So let's talk about them. Let's start with our early prelims as we begin with our first fight of the night. We only got 2 early prelims because we don't have anything else. At this point, they should have just made it normal prelims. Like, all 6 of them just be the prelims, but UFC. But we begin our night with a low-level women's strawweight fight between Diana, the warrior princess Belbiţă versus Maria Spider Girl Oliveira. We'll talk about Diana Belbiţă. Feels like it's been a long time since we've seen Diana in the octagon. I've seen Diana a good amount of times on Twitter because she is on there a lot, and I respect that she does care about her fans. Yeah, we've not seen her since early 2022. She is 1-3 in the UFC. Her 1 win is Hannah Goldie. Her 3 losses are Molly McCann, Liana Jojua, and Gloria DiPala. She's an okay fighter. Like, she's fought 3 people who are about her level, and Molly McCann, who is very bad, but Molly is still above Diana skill-wise. Lipsky shot a regional screen, excuse me. Yeah, Belbiţă's a fine fighter. Been off for a while. Her last fight against DiPala was alright, very close. I remember giving her the fight live, but on a rewatch, it was very close, not a robbery. I did call it robbery for the longest time, but after a rewatch again, not a robbery. She destroyed Hannah Goldie from what I remember, and then she got armbarred by Jojua and lost to Molly. Yeah, like, Belbiţă's fine. She's what? How old is Diana? 26. Maybe she's gotten better over this year and a half layoff. I doubt it. I don't think she can be that great of a fighter. She's not a bad fighter, like I said, but she's not very good. This is a very winnable matchup for her. This is probably the first fight in her career I can say she's easily the better fighter. She I don't know why they're trying to kill her, giving her Luke Bummy. That fight would have not been close. Yeah, not much I can say about Diana. She's okay striking. She's okay on the ground. She's just okay. She's nothing special. She's not gonna fucking, like, she has 6 finishes somehow. I guarantee those are all TKOs. Let's see. No, maybe it wasn't TKOs. I don't know. I don't think she's that great of a fighter. I think, again, she is the better fighter in this fight, I think. But, she's not very good. In House of Champions, I don't recognize that camp. I wonder if she's trying to find one that good, because I don't know why I don't recognize that camp name. Kyle Nelson, like, oh no, this ain't it. I thought just where, Malott, Jasudavicius, no. So, well, I get why she's on this card now. Yeah, not much I can say about Diana. She's very subpar is I think a nice way to put it. So, yeah, not much I can say about Diana. To talk about her opponent, Maria Oliveira, I'm gonna be a lot less nice in this one because I think very little of Maria. I think she's a very bad fighter. She is 1-2 in UFC. Her one win is over Gloria DePaula. Her 2 losses are Tavza and Vanessa Demopoulos. I think she's one of the worst fighters on the roster, to be honest. This contender series bout against Marina Rodriguez was embarrassing because she literally quit. Then she got dominated by Ricci and Demopoulos, and then she won a close fight against DePaula. It's simple how you beat Maria. You just take her down. It worked for Demopoulos. It worked for Ricci. Just take her down. She's terrible on the fucking ground. So, like, she's just not good. She's very, very bad. Like, like, she's best on her feet. If you even say she's good anywhere, it would be her feet is her strong suit. But even then, she's not very good on the feet. And like that, on the ground, she's a fish out of water, pretty much. So, yeah. Like, again, lose to Marina Rodriguez, you're not gonna get mad at. Marina's great. Just how she lost was embarrassing as fuck. Plus, I didn't even notice it. Look at who she fucking beat after Marina. 1-0. 0-0. Wow. Yeah, Maria Oliveira is not good at all, and I think this will show again Saturday night. The betting odds are pretty much even. I guess Maria is, pulling ahead a little bit. I don't get it. I would have Belbiţă minus. It's a low MMA, but still, I'd probably have Belbiţă minus 130, 135. A small favorite, but a favorite nonetheless. She should win this fight. Like, she's fighting for a job, I think, because if she loses 1-4 and not fighting very often, and losing to Maria Oliveira should get you instantly cut. Like, so, I don't know. I think Belbiţă will win this. Probably take it to the ground, wrestle, maybe she'll keep it on her feet, but I don't think that's her strong suit. Yeah, she should probably take it to the ground, and yeah, like, pretty simple what you do here. I think Belbiţă will win this fight. The only way she really loses is if Maria can just keep her away, because I think she is the longer fighter. No. I thought Maria. Well, maybe not. Yeah, Belbiţă should win this fight. I really don't see her losing this. Again, it is low MMA. We know judges like to not give a fuck judging those fights, but overall, I think Belbiţă will probably win this fight. She should be better. So I am going Diana Belbiţă by decision. Should not be a hard night for Diana. So, not much to say there. And after that, we go into our second of 2 early prelims, as we have David Undertaker Dvořák versus Steve Astro Boy Erceg. These two were meant to fight different people, not in this card even. Steve was meant to fight Clayton Carpenter a couple weeks ago, and David Dvořák was meant to fight Matt Schnell on this card. So UFC said, fuck it, fight each other, which is fine. Would've been nice to have Schnell on this card, but whatever. Yeah, good fight here. Good way to end the early prelim, which kind of sounds stupid when it's only 2. Yeah, overall should be a decent fight. Let's talk about David Dvořák. David, not been looking very good lately. 3-2 in the UFC. His 3 wins are Bruno Silva, Jordan Espinosa, and Juan Camino Ronderos, and his 2 losses have came in his last 2 fights against Mateus Nicolau and Manuel Cap. He's been getting exposed by these 2. Like, Cap and Nicolau just beat the shit out of him. Like, they were beatings. And it showed how kind of one-dimensional Dvořák is. He's just not very good. Like, he's not going to be able to hang with these top guys. Cap and Nicolau just beat the piss out of him. They were not close fights at all. So, like, and I still don't know how Dvořák got to number 10 ranked. He's not good. I don't know how he beat Bruno Silva. Like, Dvořák is very subpar fighter, I think. Like, I don't think he's very good. Like, I think he's very underwhelming as a fighter. Like, dude, he beat Juan Camino Ronderos and Jordan Espinosa. Like, he hasn't. I still don't know how this happened, but whatever. Yeah, I'm not very high on Dvořák. I think he's very underwhelming as a fighter, and I just don't think he's good. Like, I think he's the easiest fight in the flyweight rankings. That's why I said Muhammad Mukaev should fight him. He's the easiest fight in the rankings. Dude, like, how many, like, flyweight's a really good division right now. But when you look at the rankings, who is the one you look at and you're like, huh, David Dvořák. Like, everyone else you kind of make sense, but like, why is this motherfucker ranked still 10th? He lost twice in a row. Again, he lost to really good guys. Nicolau and Copper is top tier of the division. But still, like, I don't know why the UFC still has this guy ranked so high, or ranked at all. So, I don't know, I'm not very high on David Dvořák at all. So, if you get to the ground, he's gonna fucking he will do good work, but besides that, his striking's there, kind of. I don't know, I'm not impressed with Dvořák. He's just not very good, in my opinion. Very mid. To talk about his opponent, Steve Erceg. Heard good things about Steve. 9-1 record. I'll say right now, I think just an easier fight than who they try to give him. They try to give him Clayton Carpenter. I think Carpenter is better than Dvořák. As good as he can get a step down in competition. And if you look over his record right here, he's fought some pretty, not good fighters, but some pretty notable guys. Fucking Denis Bondar, Song Guk Choi, and fucking like, I know they're pretty shit. Like, Denis Bondar is not very good. Song Guk fucking was on Road to UFC, but, and then Shannon Ross, yeah, he sucks though. Yeah, like, I don't know, I've heard good things about Steve. Like I said, 9-1 record. 27 years old. He's very tall for flyweight. He's 5'9". He has to be one of the tallest flyweights. I don't know who could really be that much taller than him. I've heard good things about him, man. And I think this was a very favorable debut. I think a lot more favorable than this Carpenter fight. So, yeah. Not much. I heard he's very well rounded on the ground and the feet. He can fight, and I'm interested to see how this goes for him. The bang odds have David Dvořák minus 175 plus 150. I agree. Who should be the favorite? I disagree with how big. I would move Dvořák down to maybe a minus 1. 40 favorite. Like, I think that would make more sense, because he is on a 2-fight skid, and Erceg is good from what I've heard, so I think that's something to keep in mind. I like the size difference, 5'9", 5'5". That's interesting. What else? Not much more I can really say besides who am I going with. It's just I'm leaning Steve. I'm leaning fucking Astro Boy. I just not high on David Dvořák, man. I'm just not high on Dvořák. I think I'll be fucking honest with you. I've never seen Erceg fight before, but I've seen Dvořák fight, and lately he's not looked good. So yeah, I'm going Steve Erceg here. I think he will. He's gonna be better on the feet and on the ground. With that size, he should be able to hang with David. So I'm gonna go Erceg here. I think he can get the win. He can get shocked and people and get ranked right off the bat. So yeah, not much more to say there. And how do I think he's gonna win? I was thinking maybe a finish, but I'm gonna say decision. I think if Kopp and Nicolau if fucking Kopp couldn't finish Dvořák, I don't think Erceg will. So I'm going Steve Erceg by decision. So those are your early prelims. Fine, like pretty underwhelming fight and a decent flyweight bout. But now we go into our 4th fight prelims, which begins at lightweight. Featherweight with our first Canadian on the card. I think we got Blake Bilder, Animal Bilder, my bad. Why is it not Bob the Builder? Versus Kyle the Monster Nelson. Decent fight here to be in the prelims, and we like that we get our first Canadian. So, of only 4 on the card, which is very 5 on the card, but still disappointing. But yeah, let's talk about Blake Bilder. Blake in the UFC is 1-0, coming off Contender Series, and is beating Alex Morgan, which I've talked about that for the breakdown for his first fight. That's one of the biggest wins and probably a huge upset. Morgan was very, very, very hyped up. I've heard about him a couple times. So, before he was on Contender Series. So yeah, I was shocked that he got dominated by Blake like he did. Maybe he'll be back. Maybe like UFC is always trying to find him Canadian. So, and if Bilder is really as good as he is, he can't even put that on fucking Alex. So, but yeah, big one a few times. Like, I can just say a win on Contender Series was really like good and like a big win. And then in the UFC debut in Australia in enemy territory again, like he is on this card, he beat Shane Young. He looked alright. He didn't. I think people say he had a bad performance. I think that's a lie. I think he looked fine. He didn't look great, but he clearly did win. It just wasn't very a good one as a big underdog. Like plus 125 to minus 150, again in enemy territory of Australia. So yeah, I think he looked alright. Debut jitters in enemy territory. I was caught even for his. He still had a decent form, I thought, but it still was a little bit underwhelming. But I'll throw that up to jitters and fucking the whole 9 yards there. And now he's back in enemy territory, fighting a Canadian now in Canada. He's getting another veteran at in their hometown, so that's interesting. And yeah, Blake's good. He's still very green. Like, for being 32 years old and only being his 10th fight, it's not very good look to still be green. Like, he does. Like, on the regional scene, he is known for coming back and winning and getting dropped and all that. But the dude has heart. Dude has a lot of fucking heart. He if he fights certain people or someone who is gonna break that chin to where he can't come back, don't be shocked. Or maybe he patch up his game, cause like he is very, he's not the tallest fighter in the world, 5'8". So like he likes to fight on the inside, and he's a good wrestler. So we're gonna see probably both those things. Yeah, dude has a lot of heart, and like I said, I think Bilder is good. I think Bilder is very good. To talk about his opponent, Kyle Nelson, a guy who's had a lot of UFC fights, good and mainly bad. Kyle in the UFC is 1-4-1. His one win is Polo Reyes in 2019. His 4 losses are Diego Ferreira, Matt Siles, Billy Q, and Jai Herbert. And his draw is with Duo Choi, which I'll talk about in a minute. Though for his one win, you beat Polo Reyes. Yeah. And then for his 4 losses, like, you can't really get mad at 2 of them. Like, fucking, Billy Q and Diego Ferreira are very good. And then, but Matt Siles and Jai Herbert, really, dude? Like, that's some bad losses. Like, those are bad losses, I won't lie. And, like, Herbert looked pretty much fine versus him. It was, like, Nelson had moments in the clinch, but overall, overall, Herbert easily won, and that's not a good look. Like, Jai Herbert looking decent against you, not good. Billy Q and Diego Ferreira, perfectly fine. Jai Herbert? Ugh. And then talk about his last fight, spoiling the return of Duho Choi. A bad point deduction by the ref made it a draw. But even then, I'll be honest, Duho Choi didn't look very good in this fight. But still, Nelson gave him a good return fight. Hopefully did knock the rest off enough, but like not a very good return for the Superboy, and not cool by Nelson to spoil the return. Yeah, not much I can say about Kyle Nelson. He lost to Alex Morgan. And not much I can say here. I've never saw much of fucking Kyle. I don't think he's very good. I think he's just okay. Like, he's fighting for his job for sure. Like, if he loses this, he's done at home in Canada. I don't know. I'm not high on Kyle. I think he's very bad. And he's 32 years old. He's fought pretty, like, he only fought 3 months ago. In a pretty rough fight. So, I don't know. I'm not very high on Kyle Nelson. I think he's a very underwhelming fighter. He's a taller fighter here, and he is down for a scrap like Blake Bilder, but I don't know. I'm not sure with him, to be honest. So yeah. The Bangouts first fight have Blake Bilder minus 200 to plus 165. Yeah. I'd move Blake down a little bit. I think having him 200 is a little much. I'd probably move him down to minus 180, 85. But yeah, besides that, I agree. He should win this. Get it on the inside, hit him, take him down, win a decision. Not much to it. Jai Herbert can do it. Anyone can. So, I'm going Blake Bilder by decision here. He should win this one. Kyle Nelson is very... he's worse than Shane Young. What did that tell you? So, I think Blake Bilder is going to play the villain role again and win. So, I'm going Blake Bilder by decision. After that, we head to Bantamweight, go up a weight class for a decent fight. I don't think... this is a fun fight just because one of the guys in it. We have Aiemann, Ariel, Hawani, Zahabi versus Aoriqileng, the Mongolian murderer. I'm just gonna call him the Mongolian murderer. So, good fight. Always good to see the Mongolian murderer. Dude's a fucking scrapper, and it's always good to see Ariel Hawani. So, let's talk about Ariel Zahabi. Zahabi is a weird fighter, like, in many ways. In the UFC, he is 3-2. His 3 wins are Aldo Vieira, not a fucking clue who that is. Draco Rodriguez and Ricky Torcios. His 2 losses are Ricardo Ramos and Vince Morales. Like, how have you been to UFC since 2017 had 5 fights? And finally, you blame the pandemic. They were still running cards during the fucking pandemic. Besides that, he is 35 years old, I think. I've not really seen anyone talk about. He is 35 years old. With not a lot of damage taken, but still 35 years old. He's a striker. He's not going to take you down. You don't gotta worry about him taking you down. He's just, I don't know, like, I think he's shown flashes that Draco Rodriguez knockout, amazing, but, I don't know, if he actually fought consistently, he could have been something at bantamweight, but 35 years old, and having a very bad performance against Ricky, not because of Ricky, just, like, well, actually, totally because of Ricky. Ricky did not fight, like, I'll be honest, Ricky did not fight in that fight. He shadowboxed for 15 minutes and Zahabi won an easy decision. I still, to this day, don't know what the fuck Ricky Torcios's plan was. Yeah. Not a great last fight for Zahabi. Maybe he can make me look stupid and look good in this one, but I don't know. This is definitely, outside of Ricky, probably the best guy. Montgomery Murder is probably the best fighter Zahabi has fought, because let's be honest, who the fuck is this guy? Ramos is fine, Vince Morales is not good, Draco Rodriguez sucks. Like, overall, Montgomery Murder is probably the best fighter Zahabi's fought, and with how Zahabi fights, he's gonna want to break that chin of, he's gonna want to crack that chin of Montgomery Murder, and I don't know if he's going to. Mongolian Murder is a fucking beast, so like Mongolian Murder is gonna bring it at him. I don't think he's gonna be able to crack that chin. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be real interesting to see how Zahabi does in this one against a dude who's actually gonna bring it, hopefully, unlike Ricky. To talk about Mongolian Murder, he is also 3-2 in the UFC, I believe. Oh no, he's only 2-2. I thought he had another fight. He is 2-2 in the UFC. His 2 wins are Cameron Else and Jay Perrin. His 2 losses are Jeff Molina and Cody Durden. He did move up from flyweight because he's not a flyweight. First 2 wins, you can't say much. He beat 2 bad fighters. He actually had he didn't have a good performance against Jay Perrin. If I remember correctly, he had a very it wasn't a close fight, just it wasn't a great performance by Aoriqileng. I think, if I could be wrong, but I remember that fight being a little too close for how good Aoriqileng I think is and how not good Jay Perrin is. And then he ran through Cameron Else. And then for his 2 losses, he had that Fight of the Year contender of Jeff Molina that if you've not seen or you don't remember, go watch, it's amazing. And then that very close fight of Cody Durden that people thought he won. Very close fight, I thought it could really go either way. He was good. He fought Kai France. That's probably a great fight. Yeah, dude, Artang Haley is gonna bring it at you. He's gonna strike, he's gonna brawl, and if you can weather the storm, then good for you. If you can't, well, get out the way. He's good. He's a good fighter. He's taking a lot of damage, but he's still young, 29 years old. And I'm interested to see how Zahabi's gonna do when someone actually brings a fight to him, unlike Ricky. Like I said, Ricky did not fight. Like, I swear to God, Ricky literally showed up and just shadow boxed for 15 minutes. So, I don't know. I think it's gonna be an interesting fight. Very, very fun fight. Underrated fight on the card. The betting odds have Mongolian Murderer -130 to +105. I'd agree, because again, Zahabi not looked great against Torcios. Draco Rodriguez sucks. Everyone else he's fought and lost and beat are not very good. And Mongolian Murderer is fighting more consistently, also on a 2-fight winning streak, but I'd probably say, for context, his is a little bit better. So, I don't know, I think these are interesting. Both guys kind of in the same position. And one guy's gonna get to win and move up. One guy's gonna get to win and take it. One dude's gonna take the L and move down. So who do I think is gonna take the W in this one? I think this is a tough fight to call, but I'm gonna lean Mongolian Murderer. I think he's gonna be able to bring the fight to Ariel. I think he's going to make it a dog fight, and one that Zahabi's not gonna really want to be in, and I think he could break Zahabi or he could just decision him. So I am going Aoriqileng to win this one, and I'm gonna go by decision. I don't know if he's gonna finish Zahabi, but I do think he's going to make it a fight Zahabi does not want, and I think he's gonna win. So I'm going Aoriqileng Haley by decision. Or not Aoriqileng Haley, that's a different guy. Aoriqileng, my bad. By decision. After that, we get to one of my top 3 most hyped fights on the card. And probably number 2, because I'm a big fan of one of them. If you know me, you know who. As we have in the women's flyweight division, the Canadian badass, that's not her nickname, it should be, Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Miranda Fear the Maverick. I think this is a great fight. Like, people have shit on this fight. I know it's a great fight, dude. These two are gonna fight, man. We know Jazz, they ain't give a shit. Miranda could have good fights. This can be a really good fight. This is for number 15 at flyweight. That's nothing to keep in mind. So yeah, let's talk about Jasmine Jasudavicius. God damn, why is she so fucking skinny in that pic? Like, damn, she's not even fucking strawweight. Why the fuck? Jesus. Yeah, you could tell me she was strawweight there. Jasmine in the UFC is 2-1. Her 2 wins are Kay Hansen and Gabrielle Fernandez, and her 1 loss is Natalia Silva. Her 2 wins, 2 people she should beat. Kay Hansen, self-explanatory, and she looked good. Kay had her moments, but overall Jasmine did dominate. And in her last fight, her last win against Gabrielle Fernandez, she looked amazing. Like a 30-25. Like Jasmine looked great in that fight. Ray looked like she came back to life after that entire solo fight, which I'll talk about in a second. But dude, Jasmine looked great. Like, I think this fight showed what and who Jasmine can be. I think Jasmine does have a lot of talent. Her striking is very, I'll be honest, bad. If she could actually get a solid striking base to get her into her takedowns, dude, she's gonna be a problem. Her ground game is very good. Her ground and pounds is vicious, and I think she's very good. I think people really underestimate her because of a beating she took by someone who's a great fighter themselves. Like, I think people really look at this fight the wrong way. People shit on Jasmine for this fight, but dude, Natalia Silva is probably gonna be a top 5 flyweight. And yeah, she destroyed Jasmine, but still, Natalia Silva, she didn't fucking lose to some can. Natalia Silva, come on, people, stop being stupid. Like, I think Jasmine's a lot better than people like to say she is. I know that's gonna sound biased, but well, it is. No, Jasmine is very good. My one worry about her is she is pretty old, 34. Yeah, she's young into her career, her only 11th fight, but 34 years old is a little worrying to be, like, a little worrying. What else? Yeah, pretty not much I can really say besides, I think, like I said, her striking is bad, but if she gets you to the ground, or if she gets you to the ground, it's gonna be a problem. You're gonna have a problem on your hands. So, I think Jazz is a lot better than people make it seem with her, and I think she might show this on Saturday night as a huge underdog. And a fun fact, all three of her UFC fights, the underdog has won. She was the underdog versus Kay, she was the favorite versus Natalia, she's the underdog versus Gabriel Fernandez. I know it seems weird, but I think weird coincidences do happen. By that logic, Jasmine should win. Just saying. Let's talk about Miranda Maverick. Maverick's had a really weird UFC career, like ups and downs. She's had highs and a low or two. In the UFC, she is 4-2, really 5-1. Her 5 wins are Liana Jojua, Julian Robertson, Macy Barber, Sabina Mazo, and Shanna Young. Her only real losses are in Blanchfield, which, again, same thing with Natalia and Jazz. She lost to an amazing fighter. Like, are you gonna shit on someone for losing to someone great? We don't fucking shit on fighters for losing to GSP, John Jones, Anderson Silva. Why do we do it here when it's the same situation that fucking Blanchfield and Natalia Silva are just top tier? So, yeah. And then for her 5 wins, she's pretty much beaten no one that good. Like, her best win, probably Julian Robertson. Like, Jojua's shit, Macy Barber's shit, Mazo and Shanna Young, my god. Like, my lord. Those are jokes. Those have to be in, like, she looked amazing in that Mazo fight. That was her best performance, I can think. Like, that or Joju are both great performances. In her last fight against Shanna Young, she looked alright. Just, it was not the performance you should have had against Shanna Young, because Shanna Young's awful. So for Maverick not to finish her, let alone not have the greatest performance, I think it was only like a 30-27. Should have been more. If it went to a decision, it should have been like a 30-24. So I don't know. Like, Maverick has shown a lot of talent, but that ground game has been exploited before, and like I believe she even got taken down by Shanna Young. So, like, unless she looked like how she did against Mazo, where she just looked flawless, this is gonna be an interesting fight. The betting odds have Miranda Maverick minus 300 to plus 240. I disagree. I think Maverick should be the favorite. On paper, it would make sense, but I would say more minus 170, 175. I think I don't get why people think Maverick's gonna kick the shit out of Jazz. If it's on her feet, yes. But I feel like people forget Maverick has shit takedown defense, and her weakness is her ground game. Like, even this dumbass fucking used that to her advantage to a point. And so, I don't know, I think people are a little, I don't know, I think people really putting too much into this loss when it was against an amazing fighter. So, and Jazz got that hometown advantage. I know I should have said that for last, well, I did say it for Nelson, but now, I think this is gonna be a great fight. I think it's gonna be a good chess match. Like I said, and I'll break it down simple. I'll break it down in even simple terms. It's on the feet, Miranda Maverick's gonna win. If it's on the ground, Jasmine Jasudavicius is gonna win. Where do I think this fight's gonna take place? Well, I'm biased, and I'm gonna go Jasmine Jasudavicius. Who do I actually think she can win? Oh yeah, I think with her ground game, I think she could win. Do I think it's likely she wins? That's a different story. But I think she couldn't do. I think she could get Maverick to the ground, do her ground and pound, maybe even get a stoppage. I'm not counting on that one, but I think it could happen. And overall, I am gonna go Jasmine Jasudavicius. Pure bias. I'm going Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. maybe not 30-25 like Fernandez. I wouldn't be shocked. Very much same, close to the same. A little more competitive of a fight if Jazz does win. So I won Jazz by decision. Fuck you. Watch this. And to end the prelims of another fight I'm biased in, but for once it's not for the person I'm picking for, person I'm picking against. As we got our featured prelim, a pretty good fight, as we got Nassourdine, Russian sniper Imavov versus Chris the Crying Man Curtis. Let's talk about Imavov. Imavov coming off a bad loss to Sean Strickland. In UFC overall, he is 4-2. His 4 wins are Jordan Williams, Ian Heinisch, Edmund Shabazian, and Joe Quinn Buckley. His 2 losses are Phil Hawes and Sean Strickland. For his 4 wins, Williams and Ian Heinisch are trash. Shabazian also trash, and Buckley, that was his best win in the UFC, which I know that's not saying much, but that was his best win so far. That was a good performance by Imavov. He won the first 2 and was able to survive the third. For his 2 losses, Phil Hawes, Ramley just looked good one night, and Strickland, I'll play devil's advocate for Imavov here. Strickland took the fight, I think on Monday, Tuesday, because Gastelum pulled out. Plus the fight got moved to light heavyweight. So Imavov weighed in fucking 10 pounds heavier. Strickland was probably on fight time 20-30 pounds heavier. And again, Imavov had no fucking time to train. So to play devil's advocate, I think do I think Imavov would have won if he actually had time to train? Maybe. Strickland's very beatable, so I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about Sean Strickland anymore. Imavov has big holes in his game. Main ones being his cardio is shit. His cardio is very shitty. If I'm being honest with you, his cardio is not good. If you were asking what I'm doing, I'm trying to find, I saw a tweet that said, that this gym, Extreme Couture, if they beat Imavov, will be 3-0 against Imavov's coach. So I'm trying to see who the fuck would that have been. I have no idea. So, but no, Imavov's big problem in his game is the gas tank. He cannot fight for. He has 2 rounds of gas. After that second round, he's done. He's done, and that's been a big problem for him. But hasn't lost him a fight yet. And this could be the one that it loses in the fight. It's all about the bitch man a little bit. We all know we're getting with Chris Curtis, a little crybaby bitch. Well, no, in the cage. Dude who, if he touches you good enough, you're going to sleep. To give him a little bit of credit, that dude has power. But besides that, he can wrestle if he doesn't choose to. And he's just not, I don't know. I think he cares too much about he fights not to lose, and he then loses. So, I don't like Chris Curtis. I think he's a little bitch. So. The betting odds have Nassourdine minus 125 to plus 105. Yeah. That third round is what I'm worried about. I think Nassourdine will easily win the first 2. Just don't get hit in the third. Or don't get hit in the entire fight. Don't let Curtis hit that big shot and Imavov will win. Just if Curtis hits that big shot, it's over. So I'm hoping Imavov can not get hit by that big shot and win. So I am going Nassourdine Imavov by decision. I think he'll be able to do what he does. Survive and win. And fuck Chris Curtis, he's a little bitch. Yep, Imavov by decision. So those are the prelims. All decisions on my book. I don't know, entertaining, but I'm not gonna force the finish. Overall, I'm excited for Jazz the most, and the other fights are fine. So let's get to this main card, which is very up and down. As we begin with maybe one of the worst pay-per-view main card fights ever. As we got Eryk, ya boy, Anders versus Marc-André Power Barriault. Jesus, why the fuck is this on a pay-per-view main card? Let's talk about Eryk Anders, a very weird fighter to break down because he's extremely fucking hit or miss. In the UFC, he is 7-7-1. To talk about his last couple fights, because I think the other one that mattered. He's had some ups and downs. Like, I'll go from the Stewart fight. He dominated Stewart twice. Then he lost to Nunes, as he should. And then he lost to Junior Park in an extremely close fight. And then he knocked out Chris Kaudakis, as he should. Like, the dude's had a weird career. Wins, losses. Like, he's most known for his losses. He quit against Thiago Santos. Clear Roundtree almost killed him. He had a win over Brendan Allen, which has aged nicely. In his second UFC fight, he's main eventing against Lyoto Machida, if I'm correct. So, that's fucking huge. Like, this dude's just not very good. Late in the fight. Early in the fight, he's a problem. Late in the fight, he's not. The dude has... It's a lot like Imavov, but I think it's worse here. Like, Anders' cardio is bad. Just fucking bad. And it has shown. Like the Thiago Santos, he quit at the end of the third, I believe. So, he's scary. He's dangerous early in the fight. Just late in the fight, no. he's not. To talk about Marc-André Barriault, who's the complete polar opposite. Yeah, he has a great gas tank. He's known for his gas tank. I've not been very high on Barriault. I don't think I've ever picked him. Actually, I can check that fact right now if I've ever picked Marc-André Barriault. I don't think I've ever picked him. I don't think he's very good. Yeah, I've never picked Marc-André Barriault. Might change. I've never thought he was that good of a fighter. And he's extremely win-loss. Like, in the UFC, his best win is Julian Marquez in that last fight. But Marquez is, like, actually, it's funny that his last two wins are guys who are known for gassing, and now he's getting another one. So I think that's very, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting developments there. But yeah. Overall, Barriault's gonna try and take you down and wrestle you and tire you out, and he'll probably work. To be honest, it'll probably fucking work. So, keep that in mind. Yeah, not much more to say there. The betting odds have Marc-André Barriault -140 to +115. I would agree. I'd probably have Barriault a little bit bigger of a favorite, maybe -160. Like, the only worry I have for him is early in the fight. Hope if Anders doesn't connect. If Anders doesn't connect early, then Barriault's gonna win. Let's be honest. Like, that's Anders' only way of winning this fight is connecting early and knock him out like Chitty did. Like, cause he's not gonna be able to fucking stay. Like, Barriault will keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting, and then tire Eryk out. So, yeah. I am gonna go Marc-André Barriault here. First time I've ever fucking said that. How do I think he's gonna win? I'm gonna go by TKO in the third. I think he's gonna really tire out Anders and get the win. So I am gonna go Marc-André Barriault by TKO in the third. I think he'll. It might even be in the second, but I'm gonna say the third. By the third, Anders, I think, will be dead tired from wrestling. I think Barriault will get the finish. If not, it'll probably be like a 29, 27, 30, 26, whatever the fuck. So yeah, I'm going Marc-André Barriault by TKO in the third. After that, we hit the first great fight on the main card, and you could just give this fight of the night now. Like, look at who's in it. We have Dan 50K Ige versus Nate the Train in the UFC Landwehr. Banger, 10 out of 10 booking. Let's talk about Dirty Dan. Ige in the UFC is 8-5. His best win, well, I'll drop that out to 7-6, because he lost to Edson Barboza. His best win is probably, I'm not sure, probably Gavin Tucker. Like, if you pretend like he actually beat Barboza, then it's that one, obviously, but he didn't beat Edson Barboza. Yeah, not much to say. Like, Ige hit a bad cold streak of just L after L after L, and then he fucking showed Damon Jackson how it's done. Damon Jackson ain't a great fighter, but he sent him to Shadow City. You know what you're getting if Ige. Dude has a lot of power. If he touches your chin, you are gonna go to sleep. But besides that, you're not really worried about him than anything else. Like, he's got one submission in the UFC and mostly decisions and knockouts. Like, I think he's a very one-dimensional fighter. He's good, but I've not been very high on him. Like, I picked Damon Jackson against him. I won't fucking lie. Like, I don't know. I don't think Ige should be in the rankings. I think there's better fighters outside of the rankings. So I don't know. I think there was better guys ranked under him. Fucking, I'll take Alex Harris any day. Edson Barboza beat him. No. I think Ige is good, and I think this is a very winnable fight for him. He can crack chins, but outside of cracking your chin, I'm not very worried about Dan Ige, to be honest. For Nate to train in the UFC, baby. And to talk about Nate, he's well-rounded, even if his fight IQ is bad. But he's a fan fighter, man. That Onama fight, one of the best fights I've ever seen, top 10. And those are the fights that we need every week. Fuck winning, just put on a fight. And he was winning anyway. Like, that was a real man's fight. He didn't give a fuck. He wanted to fight, and he fought. That's one of the most respectable performances I've ever seen. Not this pussy ground game, not this pussy shit. Fight. And he fought, and he almost killed Onama. But it was worth it. That crowd loved it, and it's good to have Nate to train back on a pay-per-view in a brawl with Dan Ige. He's had a very up and down. He's actually had a very up UFC career since his Erosa loss. Like, he started off his career that vicious knockout against Herbert Burns, and then he came back with that war with Darren Elkins, KO'd by Juicy J, and then he just rattled off 3 in a row against. Okay, Lingo sucks, but Onama and Klein are good. And dude, he's looking good. Like, he's looking like the guy the UFC signed for a reason. Dude puts on fun fights and wins, and I think this is gonna be a make or break fight for him. This will tell you if he's actually worth being ranked, or if he's just gonna be a Darren Elkins where he just puts on bangers but never wins anything. So I think it's gonna be an interesting fight. I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think it's gonna be a fun fight, and yeah, I can't fucking wait. The betting odds for his fight have Dan Ige minus 230 to plus 190. I would move Ige down. I get why Ige is favorite, and I do agree, but I would move him down to probably minus 185. Like, he should be the favorite, but I don't see a 230, so I would move him down a little bit. Yeah, and who am I going with in this fight? I'm biased as fuck, and I don't. It would be more fun if he won. I'm going Nate to train in the UFC, baby. How can I not go Nate to train? Like, I have to go Nate, man. It's gonna. If he wins. Bless you, thank you. if he wins, it's more fun, because then we get more fun fights with him in the rankings, and everything's better. So I'm gonna go Nate to train. I think he actually can win. If he fights semi-smart, he doesn't get that chin cracked, and he just goes in there and fights. If he fights smart, if he wrestles Ige, which he is the better wrestler, he will win. I don't know, I think this fight can go many ways. I don't think he's gonna finish Ige. If there is a finish, it's probably gonna be Ige breaking Nate's jaw. But I think Nate's gonna be able to out crazy him and put on a fight of the night like he always does, because Nate's trained in the UFC. So I'm going Nate Landwehr by decision. For fun, who cares? Let Nate win. Get him in the rankings, he deserves it. Nate to train in the UFC. So, yeah. After that, we head to welterweight for our last Canadian of the night, and this is just fucking a sacrifice. Let's be honest. As we got proper Mike Malott versus Adam Fugitt. Let's talk about Mike Malott. Mike in the UFC is 2-0, coming off the Contender Series, and his 2 UFC fights. He's got 2 first-round finishes over Mickey Gall and Johan Lainus. This dude's looking great. Like, this dude's looking really, really fucking good. He probably came to Aldo on the regional scene. What fucking weight class did they fight at? The fuck? Yeah, Malott's looking great, man. Malott is he was a fucking 45er? How? He missed weight, I'm shocked. He's looking great. Not much else I can say, man. He ran through Mickey Gall and Johan Lainus. 2 cans. But still, he's looking like Canada's best. Him and Jazz looking like the future of UFC in Canada. Because Barriault, no one cares. Zahabi, who cares? Kyle Nelson, garbage. Charlie Jourdain, like that. Malott, Jourdain, and Jazz looking like Canada's future. And it's looking bright. Maybe not for Jourdain, he'll just put on bangers. But for Malott and Jazz, they're looking great. And especially Malott. Malott's looking amazing. And this is another layup for him, I think. Like, this is probably an easier fight than fucking, as easy of a fight as these two. Like, there's not much to it. He's great everywhere. On the feet, Malott's good. On the ground, Malott's great. Malott's just good. For Adam Fugitt, he's fought a murderer's row of guys. Like, I'll read down his 3 UFC fights, but wow. His 3 UFC fights are Michael Morales, Yasaku Kinoshita, and Mike Malott. Dude, this dude's fighting a murderer's row. I feel bad because, like, dude, fucking Michael Morales, a dog. Kinoshita, a dude he kind of fucking ran through Fugitt. And now Mike Malott, dude, he was gonna run through him. This poor dude just cannon fodder. And the bad thing, the cannon fodder actually won. Like, I don't know. I think Fugitt had his moment in the spotlight, and now it's gonna crash down on him. Like, I don't think Fugitt's gonna win this fight. Let's be honest, does anyone? Malott's gonna win this fight. The real question of the fight is how Malott's gonna win. So, yeah. The betting odds have Mike Malott minus 210, 2 plus 170. I'd move Malott to like minus 300, 350. He's gonna win this fight, let's not lie to ourselves. Why do you think they put it so high on the card? So they get a nice, one last good Canadian pop before they go into the big fights. So yeah, Mike Malott's gonna win. How is Mike gonna win? I'm gonna say a knockout first. I could see him doing a submission, but what would really wake this crowd up before the Cohen main would be a knockout. So I'm gonna go Mike Malott by knockout in the first. I think it's gonna really make that arena explode. So I'm gonna Mike Malott by knockout in the first. Not much to say there. After that, we go into our co-main event of the evening. A fight I got very little to say because I think it's pretty easy. We have Charles Dvořák Oliveira versus Dariush, who cares? yeah, Charles is gonna win this fight. Like this, said this a couple times. This is literally just a warm up before the Islam rematch. Let's not lie to ourselves. So, yeah, I'm going Charles Oliveira in this one. He is my lock of the night. The fact that he's an underdog is literally giving money away. So go bet on that now. Charles is gonna win this fight. Let's not lie to ourselves. So I'm going Charles Oliveira by submission in the first. Not much to it. Pretty simple. Let's do it. Not much to say there. And now for the main event of the evening. We have an amazing main event in my opinion, and it should be in yours, but I don't care. We have Amanda, the Lioness, Nunes versus Irene, Aldana. This is the first great Nunes fight since Cyborg, man. Dude, name the last good Nunes fight. It's not this, or this, or this, or this, or that. Like, dude, this is gonna be a great fight. I cannot wait for this fight. Like, dude, we all know Nunes, and I'll talk about the elephant in the room in a minute. And we all know, you should know Irene. If you don't know Irene Aldana, she is an amazing boxer. She is 135 with Alexa Grasso. I won't say she's as good as Grasso. I do think Grasso is a little bit better. But overall, I do think Irene is a little bit, like, her grappling is her weak suit, which I'll talk about that in a minute. But dude, overall, Irene is a great fighter. And she goes to a great gym. Her, Grasso, and Lopez are 3 dogs, man. So, they're 3 killers. And could that gym get a 2nd champion? Could Mexico get a 3rd champion? Jesus Christ. I'll keep it 100 with you. I'll talk about the elephant in the room. Is Nunes still wanting to fight? Does she still have that fire? I don't know. It seems like it, but at the same time, does she though? I don't know. And that's a tough one to answer. Well, I don't know, like, I feel like the first Pena fight, she didn't have the fire anymore. I think maybe the first Pena fight might have lit that fire again. Because, let's be honest, she made excuses. She lost because she did not give a fuck about Pena. Now, after beating Pena again, is she going to be able to just be calm? Just be okay with whatever happens? Like, I don't know. Like, Pena's in a rearview mirror. Who cares about Trilogy? This is the harder fight. Like she said at the press conference today, Irene is better than Pena. So Nunes, like, and for as great as Nunes' performance was against Pena in the rematch, she couldn't finish her. And if they were dry in a couple moments of that fight, she would have submitted. So I think those are 2 things to keep in mind. Overall, like, Nunes is still a great fighter, but how much longer can she be if she is still wanting to fight? So, with her 2nd kid on the way, and 35 years old, done everything in her career, first ballot Hall of Famer. How much else can she do? How much longer can that fire be lit if it even is still lit? So, yeah. This is going to be a great fight, and it comes down to 2 things. On the feet, either Irene is going to just pick her apart, or Nunes is going to land her patented Nunes big shot. If it goes to the ground, it's Nunes all day. I won't even lie to you. It's Nunes all day, I think. Sorry about that. I'm trying to clean my... cleaning a little bit. Yeah. This fight's going to This fight's either going to be a giant upset to some people, or it's going to be the Durandamy fight all over again. Because if you remember the Durandamy fight, Durandamy made Nunes a panic wrestler because Nunes cannot strike with her. Irene, probably a better striker. Let's see what happens, man. I think this fight's interesting. I think people are really insane for counting Irene out and not caring about this fight. Because I feel like a lot of people are going to regret this by the end of the night. Even if Irene loses, I guarantee you Nunes does not leave with a clean face. Like, she's going to leave with some bruises and in a lot of pain. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. So, yeah. The betting odds, Amanda Nunes patented -330. I get it, but actually I'd have her as a, not as big a favorite. I'd have her maybe a minus 210, 220. She should not be her normal giant favorite here. This is a very unfavorable matchup in a way. If it's on the feet, is this the first time Nunes is not the better on the feet since Durand? Interesting. Interesting development. Very interesting development. And I'm on the ground again. But if Irene can stop those takedowns, Irene is taller. So, I don't know, it's going to be a very intriguing fight. I think I'm very hyped for this fight. And who am I going with? If you know me, well, and if you look right here, I am biased as fuck. Again. So, but I actually do think, just like Jazz, I do think this person can win. I am going and new Irene Aldana. I'm a big fan of Irene, like I am for Grasso. Why I picked Grasso, pure bias. I think Irene has a better chance than Grasso. And, yeah, I'm going Irene Aldana here. I think she'll be able to keep it on her feet. I know she's better on the feet. And I think this is going to be a very, very, very interesting fight. So, I am going Irene Aldana by finish in the second. Knockout or TKO, probably a TKO. I think she will hurt Nunes to the body or to the head. Nunes will collapse, and I think ground and pound finish. Irene Aldana wins the UFC Women's Bantamweight Championship because Nunes does her normal quitting like she did against Pena, like she has done in the past, if it doesn't go her way. So I am going Irene Aldana by knockout / TKO in round number 2. And no. So, there's the card. 11 fights, over an hour long breakdown. Let's go over the fights one more time. Well, my picks one more time. Belbiţă by decision. Steve Erceg by decision. Bilder by decision. The Mongolian Murderer by decision. Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. Nassourdine Imavov by decision. Marc-André Barriault by TKO in the third. Nate the Train by decision. Malott by knockout in the first. Charles Oliveira by submission in the first. Lock of the night. The champion has a name. And Irene Aldana by TKO in the second. And new. Bang, bang, bang. To hit a little side note I talked about at the beginning, this card's kind of been fucked over due to cancellations. Like, this hurt to lose, and this hurt to lose. This was an upgrade, and whatever here. So, yeah, it sucks that this card did get weakened, but overall I still think we got a decent card, and it'll be a fun thing to watch on Saturday night in Erceg, Canada. So, not much more to say. I'm excited. I'm feeling the champion still has a name and new. So I'm excited and I can't wait. So unless I'm forgetting something to say, you'll hear from me Sunday 1 PM EST for a recap. And yeah, tell me your picks, all that down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're liking seeing what I see, just Tapology. And as always, like, comment, sub, 100 subs go by the end of the year. And RX out. Oh, Canada.